2026 election year now underway. We saw a little bit of a preview yesterday of what Democrats are going to be focusing on and what Republicans are going to be focusing on, the seeming split screen, and Democrats coming out of the gates with criticism about January 6th. We heard it in the last segment with highlights from the Democrat-led January 6th committee yesterday, where they heard about the day of events and criticism of President Donald Trump pardoning a whole bunch of January 6th defendants. And the Democrats also characterized many of those defendants as criminals, saying that Trump and Republicans are silent on allowing criminals back out on the street. But clearly, many of those who faced prosecution did not do anything wrong. And one of those joins us here today. And he's actually a plaintiff now in a case challenging the federal government. Lawrence Ligas joins us. He's an election integrity advocate. Lawrence, yesterday's 5th anniversary of January 6th, of course, a lot of attention on it. But what was your role? How has your life changed in all of this? Good morning. Thanks for taking time with us here with Illinois in Focus Daily.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for having me back. It was like a year ago that you invited me on here right after I was fully pardoned with prejudice by a D.C. judge. What that basically means is that my case was coming to full dismissal, and then President Trump did a very kind gesture to simplify everybody, even though that there were some bad apples, like 33 of them. But you cannot throw the rest of the good people that got stuck in a sting, such as myself. But I smelled the sting early, Greg. I was a whistleblower when I saw, and this is part of my case, so I really don't want to get too deep into it as I am a plaintiff. I have 10 defendants that went after me wrongly, and I call it malicious prosecution. In court, we cannot use the word, but the reality is, when you're patient and you believe in yourself and you know you didn't do anything wrong, the tide turns, and it's turning very strongly, as I believe that I have the smoking gun to the truth about January 6th. The 33 supporters that were there, they are really not patriots. They're really not part of what I thought is the MAGA movement, to be a third party in the national elections, because, many people referred to me as election expert, and I have national reach. And that's why I was there on January 6th. I had no negative attentions. I was there as an independent person. I was there at 10 a.m., Greg. I showed up as the first demonstrator to arrive. And then what the DOJ did and the FBI coordination, they assumed, because I was there at 10 a.m., they assumed that I was advanced eyes for like the Proud Boys. I was there to share my expertise, my passion. I have multiple passions between fraud and election integrity. Those should be nonpartisan. But the Biden administration, they took my genuine civic duty and turned me into a bad guy with superseding indictment, seditious conspiracy. I was looking at 20 years a year ago in the penitentiary. But my legal team, my whole supporters that have got me through this believed in me, and we fought to the point where the judge believed us and was going to dismiss my case and not part of that pardon, because majority of the people know that pardon means that you were found guilty, and then a president did a kind gesture and just basically gave you a pardon and just let you move on with your life. But 33 people decided to take the pardon and then go out and do another crime. And that really made the MAGA movement, the conservative movement, have a black eye.
Well, we heard yesterday the Democrats and a few Republicans, former Illinois Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger was there, saying that Trump incited.
What a disgrace! What
Yeah,
a disgrace that ban is.
He talked about how Trump incited the riots. You had Congresswoman Robin Kelly talking about all of the criminals that Trump pardoned. But you also had the Democrats talk about the being in the gallery that day and the fear they felt and having to put on gas masks and having to hide their identity and such. You know, they really talked about the emotional impact they had that day, the trauma that the members of Congress had that day. Lawrence, you're suing over a raid that happened in your house. What kind of trauma are you dealing with physically from having the FBI come after you as if you were a seditionist?
That's exactly how they came after me. They wanted to make an example out of me. Greg, what they're saying that they're dealing with, I'm dealing with 10 times the level of trauma. Let me share one thing that I haven't shared with many because I was suffering with long-term post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm a miracle survivor from a near-death experience in Chicago being targeted. I was shot point blank in the face and a bullet went through my right carotid and it exited back here.
And this, just to be clear, this was not from the raid that happened. This was a separate incident?
No, this was a separate incident.
Gotcha.
Many years before.
Gotcha.
But I was recovering from it. I was in a new path of recovery using what's called functional medicine. I fired my Western medicine team, and I was in a really good place with my traumatic brain injury and my post-traumatic stress disorder. Those evil people that did not give me a phone call. They did not even give me a chance to turn myself in for a misdemeanor offense. Normally you get a phone call before your door is battered down with a battering ram. I had no phone call. They came in with guns, masked. They all were wearing black masks, screaming, and I was looking down the barrel of a gun, just like I did when somebody shot me point blank in the face. If it wasn't for a guardian angel that I call that person, she was trained in the, I think, Navy as a medic. She saw me go down after they tried to snap my neck. She opened my airway. If it wasn't for her sitting me up, opening my airway, getting some other people to drag me to a car, they put me in a trunk and they took me to a hospital, trauma center, which was experienced with gunshot wounds at that time. And I saw the death chamber. That's how serious I was bleeding out. The reality is I did bleed out. But they were there in the right time to get me some fluids and some blood. But I am one lawyer that I interviewed right when I got arrested. What a great man. He said, you're gonna show what you believe, that relationships, your health, and third is finance. And if I could send one message, what I've lived through, if you could keep your relationships, your health, don't worry about the money. And that's how I won my case. And that's how I'm going to win my civil rights case against the government and 9 plaintiffs.
Well, and Lawrence,
sorry, I misspoke. Total of 10 defendants, FBI, the DOJ, Homeland Security, members of the FBI, and 2 people of the Capitol Police. Those are the bad actors on January 6th, beyond the FBI antagonizers. The Capitol Police, they were unprepared, they were not trained, and they didn't have the equipment for the large MAGA demonstration that they knew about months ahead of time.
Lawrence, and
Sorry,
no sweat. I just wanted to share my condolence to you for having to go through that years in advance of January 6, 2021. I can't imagine. I didn't know that happened to you, and that's an incredible story. But to the January 6th indictment you faced, and the if you could just briefly walk us through that night, if you can, or that morning rather, when you woke up and federal authorities were there with masks. I mean, how did that proceed?
It was basically what I thought was a nightmare, because with PTSD, you have nightmares. And I thought I was having a nightmare. And I went to my door after I heard a loud knock. And I basically remember saying, if you're the real FBI, call my attorney, Jason Cerny. So I lawyered up right away, Greg. I lawyered up right away. About 30 seconds after that, my door was battered in. I took whiplash to the forehead because I was standing by the door, because I wasn't sure if this was some other, I'm very well known for exposing fraud. I'm very well known for wanting advocate for national voter ID. So you think my actions as doing my civic duty, volunteering, you think I would get support from both ends of the spectrum, but it's not happening, because both ends, the extreme far left and the extreme far right, they enjoy chaos. So what I'm standing here, I'm basically speaking on behalf of you, Greg, your listeners, which are great people. That's what I was doing on January 6th, and because I was using free speech, and I knew what I was talking about, and I knew where all the fraud and election wrongdoings are, they came after me to shut me up, to intimidate me. And they did everything in their power to do it, using psychological torture. But they set me back 20 plus years, several $1 million worth of medical bills that just went down the toilet. And they damaged my brachial plexus again. They really set back my nervous system. And then after that, then they put the handcuffs on me so tight, they wouldn't even let me put on socks. This was December 1st in Chicago. What weather is in Chicago December 1st? Cold. They had me stand outside, like, on a busy street. I live on a busy street with handcuffs for 5-10 minutes. People just watching me, gawking, to send a message that about January 6th. This is the first guy that showed up. We got him. I'm there with just basically shower shoes on for them, just mocking me, using the media to basically, make this into a clown show. And then about 6 hours later, we waited for 2 hours for me to get a COVID test. I was in pain, but I didn't want to tell them. I didn't want to show them. So then they would figure, we got him. He's weakening. And I fought through it. I used all my training with, people with PTSD and anxiety, depression, how to breathe, how to not show your weakness. I used it all. Then when it came time to get the cuffs off, they couldn't get them off. I was so swollen. As I talk to you right now, I am still in pain from that day. And they explained that it's going to take years because, the internal inflammation. It's been almost 5 years, and the pain is actually increasing. But the police officers, the Capitol police officers, you heard them, testifying that they're having a hard time getting through this and everything else. Well, that was their job. It wasn't my job to be part of a sting, to be part of flashbangs shot towards a group where I was near, a peaceful group. Those flashbangs caused damage. The Capitol Police, they're on my defendant list, and I'm going to expose you.
Lawrence, we're out of time, but if you could, just in 30 seconds, tell us about the status of your case and what's next.
The case is moving forward. As of yesterday, my case is so strong. I believe I have the smoking gun to the truth about January 6th. It'll come out in my case. In my it's a tort case, and they assigned another judge to my case, which is has a strong background with tort cases, government suits against the government. So this is actually looking like a badge of honor to my case that they're putting a stronger judge on it. I'm not looking at it through a political angle. I'm looking at it through the legal angle, and I believe the court is fair, and I believe the new judge is going to do a fair job. And we'll see as it goes.
We'll be watching and keep us posted on it. All right. Greatly appreciate your time this morning. Absolutely.
And Greg, also, I'm pro se. I'm doing this pro se because I spoke to 16 different lawyers in Chicago and DC, and most of them said thank you, but no thank you. We cannot take the chance of being blackballed by J.B. Pritzker or by the bar associations. So I'm doing pro se because nobody else wanted to take on the smoking gun. So I'm doing it on my own. But if anybody's out there that has experience with suing the government, the federal, please reach out. And soon, a little later, I've been always a giver, Greg. And I'm going to have to ask for get some help because I fought my criminal case and I brought this to filing. And eventually, I'm going to need help. So I'll be looking out to you and your supporters. God bless everybody. Stay safe.
Lawrence Ligas, he is a plaintiff now, suing the federal government over civil rights and tort law. He, of course, will be talking with him about this and more issues throughout. So appreciate him taking the time with us this morning with Illinois in Focus Daily. It is The Center Square. Go check it out. The latest at thecentersquare.com.